Hello. It's a beautiful day now here. We had soft, gentle rain earlier that just came down nice and steady. It wasn't horizontal, so it was lovely and refreshing, and it's really perked everything up. And of course, the growth is just incredible the last couple of weeks. So I'm just harvesting a little bit of hawthorn because I keep doing this periodically throughout the summer, and then eventually when the berries appear, I'll put it all together to make a full plant tincture. But talking of tinctures, 6 weeks ago I made a dandelion tincture, and I put some dandelion flowers in oil to make different types of medicine, and that video generated dozens of, well, not dozens, but the same few questions repeated. So I thought I'll show you what to do with it now that it's been sitting there for 6 weeks, and answer the questions as I'm showing you. I've just spotted these as well. Well, I didn't just spot them, I knew they were here, but I thought I may as well come up to these as well while I'm collecting the hawthorn. It's unbelievable how much hawthorn is in flower this year. I've never seen this much blossom. And driving up and down the roads, I was in Mayo yesterday, and it's just, the whole side of the road is covered in white blossom. It's beautiful. But it's definitely a reminder to look after our heart, both physically and metaphysically. So maybe get your blood pressure checked, and maybe start meditating through your heart or something. You know, it's definitely, we're living in times where it's good to get in touch with our hearts and try to improve our situation. So I'll bring this to the house now. Come with me and I'll show you what I'm doing with the dandelion since it's been sitting there now for 6 weeks. Okay, so 6 weeks ago I collected some dandelion roots, dandelion leaves and flowers, and I made a tincture, and I also infused some in oil, some of the flowers rather, in oil. So I've had lots of questions. I've had several questions repeated by different people. So I just want to go through today, as I'm dealing with this medicine now that it's been infusing for 6 weeks, to explain, or rather to answer those questions. So first of all, somebody asked me, did I wash everything? And there seems to be an obsession about washing stuff that you find in nature. So first of all, I only pick plants from my own garden, so I know that they're clean and haven't been sprayed and there's been nothing near them. Now, yes, I do have dogs, but I know where the dogs go to do their business, and usually it's out on their walk. So I'm very happy that what I pick in my garden is clean. And if it looks clean, I presume that it is clean. I don't choose anything that has damage or brown marks or has been eaten in any way. I just choose the most pristine of plants to use. And of course the roots are under the ground. So the roots, they were rinsed. I didn't show it on the film because I couldn't fit everything in, but the roots were rinsed to just take off the excess soil and given a wipe over. And I tell you why I don't wash things too emphatically. It's because some of the constituents of the plants are water soluble, and you know, the medicine could be lost if you're over washing. So I don't see any need at all to be washing things from my own garden. So saying that, if you don't have a garden, or there aren't enough plants in your garden and you have to go out make sure that you're going to a place that is pristine and is not a dog walking path or whatever. So you have to use your own judgment and your own common sense. Now then, so saying that, after I collected this plant, I've chopped it up, I rinsed the roots, and I chopped up the roots and the leaves and the flowers, and I put them in a jar and I covered them with alcohol. I'm now going to strain the alcohol away. So I've strained this into a jug rather, and I'm going to squeeze this out to get the last little bits. There was many people asking, what can I do if I don't tolerate alcohol? What can I do if I'm a recovering alcoholic? So the answer to that is you use apple cider vinegar. So I always use an organic apple cider vinegar for tinctures. That's one brand, but there are others as well. So any good quality organic apple cider vinegar with the mother is the most potent form of medicinal vinegar. And so you can quite happily use that. It will do a similar job of extracting all the medicinal constituents. And the only difference is it only lasts for about a year, whereas tinctures made with alcohol, they can last 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. You know, they can last longer. So once you have it strained off, I'm going to put it through the funnel, put a little bit of muslin in there, just to take any last little bits. This process is identical whatever herb you're using, and there is another film that I made about making tinctures, and I'll put the link in the box below so that you can go and have a look at that as well. But it's the same process regardless of whatever plant you're using. So now where's my other jam jar? Here's another jam jar with some more of the tincture in, and I'm going to strain that through the muslin. So we use the dandelion tincture for kidneys and liver. Root is more specific for the liver, the leaves are for the kidneys, and they tone and support and make those organs function in a better way. So somebody asked, why would you use alcohol if you're looking after the liver? And yes, but that's because they didn't understand the dose. They thought they had to drink the tincture when it was ready. But of course you don't do that at all. You don't really want to be drinking alcohol if your liver is in any way compromised. So what we do is we take tiny little doses and they stimulate the organ to improve. So you would take maybe half a teaspoon of tincture in, or up to a teaspoon in about that much water 2 to 3 times a day. And you don't do this forever. It's, you know, allopathic medicine tends to, you get put on a drug and you're supposed to be on it forever because it alleviates symptoms rather than trying to improve anything. So a herbal remedy you're going to take for a while. It's going to gently nudge you back to homeostasis and improve an organ or a situation, and then it's done its job and the body will continue to do the healing because our bodies are made to heal themselves. So as I said, the apple cider vinegar will do a very similar job. You could also use glycerin, and you make something called a glycerite. So you're putting half glycerin to half water and infusing the plant material in exactly the same way. So I'm just going to label this. It's a dandelion full plant tincture and today's date. And that's ready for use now. And I'll put the dosage for different people, you know, elderly, adults, children, in the box below. Okay. So I just want to recap what I've said there. You pick your plants in a pristine area. You use your common sense and your own judgment about it. And the dose for taking the tincture is in the box below, along with the alternatives to alcohol in case you can't tolerate or take alcohol for whatever reason. So that's a tincture. Now, I also collected the flower heads and infused them in olive oil. And the reason for that is this is the base for a salve if somebody has arthritis or rheumatism, or even just muscular pains and spasms. Dandelion flower heads have a lot of magnesium, so the magnesium that is now infused into the oil and will go into a salve, or you could just use the oil as it is, will help to relieve spasms and make any pain in the muscles, any aches or pains, ease. So it's the same thing. I've got my funnel, put my muslin in there, and I'm just going to pour the oil through. And it's that simple. I'll include a link to another video that I made, how to make salves. Again, this could be rose, it could be meadowsweet, it could be lavender, it could be any plant that you want to create a salve from or an infused oil for a basis for beauty products or for wounds. You know, plantain, elder, there's lots of plants can be used for salve making. And I'll just gather that up and squeeze out. So this is a dandelion infused oil ready to become the basis for a salve, or I can just use it as a body oil. And I'll just label that so that I don't forget. Dandelion infused olive oil. Okay. So just to finish off, don't panic about collecting things from nature. Things don't have to be washed and scrubbed. You know, nature is clean. Nature is a clean entity and is full of health-giving properties, so we don't want to wash them away. So just use your common sense when you're collecting plants and know that they're safe, unless you know otherwise, and then you don't use them. So so I have two types of medicine now. I have a tincture, I have an infused oil. The tincture I've made is in alcohol, but I could have made it in apple cider vinegar. And you can be creative. If you make it with vinegar, you can take it in the same way as the alcoholic tincture, as a medicinal dose, 1 to 2 to 3 times a day. Or you could, because the minerals have been extracted by the vinegar, you could use it in salad dressings. You could put little bits into soups or stews just to add extra nutrition, extra nutrients to your food. So, you know, so much abundance in nature, so much to be grateful for. Just use your common sense and go out and empower yourself with some medicine making. So I think the dogs need a little bit more exercise. So I'm going to go back out, get a little bit more hawthorn and maybe some roses as well, and make some other things. So I'm making a couple of things to bring with me to the yoga picnic, which is on the 2nd of July, and the details of that are below as well. And don't forget, there's a discount code that you can use as well. So I'll see you next week. I hope the weather stays good. Come on, dogs. Hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the weed handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.